This is meteorologist Eric Hayden with the National Weather Service in Binghamton, New York. We want to talk to you about a potential snowstorm that could impact parts of the East Coast, even parts of our area, Wednesday, which is traditionally the busiest travel day of the year, into Thanksgiving Day. We want to talk about what we know, what we don't know, and give you some ideas on what you may be able to expect if you're doing some traveling for the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday. Right now, this image is a water vapor image. It's a great way to show moisture in the atmosphere, and that yellow X up across British Columbia, that is a disturbance high aloft in the jet stream. Over the next day or two, that will move across the western part of the United States and sometime on Tuesday form a low pressure system in the Gulf of Mexico. Eventually, this low pressure system will track up the East Coast. Most of our model guidance has this happening. The question is, what about the exact storm track? One thing we want to point out, since that disturbance is just now moving on into portions of Western Canada, we have not had a good chance to analyze that storm. What I mean by that is we have a lot of weather stations, upper air balloons over land, and we have a good idea of what's going to happen once the storm moves across the land. When it's out over the ocean, we don't have as good of an idea, and that's why we think the forecast will become a little bit more clear over the next day or two as we have a better chance to really analyze the storm itself. It's all about the storm track. You hear that over and over again for storms along the East Coast. Storm track A, one of the models is favoring that. That would be hugging the New Jersey coast and maybe going toward Boston and just south of Portland. Track A would favor impacts farther west. So if you're watching us from Syracuse back through Elmira and Binghamton, a track closer to the coast would mean inland impacts felt greater, and that would be a bigger snowstorm for a larger majority of our area. Other models have this storm tracking farther off the coast. Some have it tracking so far off the coast we see little to no impact. We'll call that storm track B. Most of those impacts for storm track B would be closer to the coast, perhaps northeast Pennsylvania and the Catskills. So the best advice is to continue to check the updated forecast because things will certainly change as we head toward the middle of the week. Here's what we know. Snow is becoming more likely across at least part of our area. The timing, we know that would arrive by Wednesday afternoon, likely ending by Thursday afternoon. Heaviest snow would fall Wednesday evening and night, and your risk is higher the farther south and east you live. So if you're watching from Scranton into the Catskills and the Poconos, you have a higher risk than the folks in Binghamton, and the folks in Binghamton have a higher risk than the folks in Syracuse. It should fall mostly, if not all, in the form of snowfall. Here's what we don't know. If the storm will actually impact all of our area, just part of it, or none of the area. How much snow will fall and where, and again, that's why we encourage you to check back for updates. Speaking about that, check out our mobile site, mobile.weather.gov. You can enter your city there to get an hour-by-hour forecast, also live radar as we get closer. Also on social media, just remember at NWS Binghamton. You can search us on Twitter and also Facebook.